Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. First, I wanted to thank all of you. I don't know how to thank personally the over 600 people who have contributed, participated in Ita's library, which will be built to Mirz Hashem in honor of my daughter. And the support, the contribution means the world to us. So thank you. This week I wanted to continue the vart we started last week, the difference of the world pre-Mabul and post-Mabul. We said the world pre-Mabul manifested Hashem through its freshness, through its strength, through its power, versus the world post-Mabul, which was definitely weakened. Again, their lives were shorter. They didn't live as long. They've been softened. They've been batul. They've been nullified and broken. But that allows the ability to express infinity, because the world before the Mabul only expressed Hashem to the degree that the creation's perfection allows. Once the creation's perfection has broken down, and now Hashem's perfection, Hashem's greatness could manifest through it. That's why there's a rainbow, and that's why only the world post-Mabul is able to endure forever and has that gift of resilience and manifesting Hashem's ultimate majesty. Which leads to a very interesting phenomenon we could realize in this week's Parsha, that Avram Avinu seemed to have both. On the one hand, his life was only 175 years. That means he was living the reality of post-Mabul. He wasn't living 800, 900 years. 175 years, that was his life. Yet, he was given the gift of having a child at 100 years old, 99 years old, his wife at 90 years old. To have a child, which means they were still youthful when they were 190, and that's a pre-Mabul reality. So which one was it? Were they living pre-Mabul or were they living post-Mabul? And the answer is the ultimate way to live is both. And this Dvar Torah is going to touch on a very difficult concept. Let's apply this back to our life. People, everyone, pretty much, throughout their lives, get broken at some point. And one way of approaching that is just to forge forward, accept the fact that you're broken, go to post-Mabul world, because we're no longer in pre-Mabul world, right? We lost that freshness, we lost that wholesomeness. Now we're broken, but we could forge forward with bittul. Ultimate, dir b'tachtonim, Mashiach type of living is, I am broken. My shell, my humanness has been broken, but at the core, a Jew is never really broken. Our neshama is wholesome, fresh, part of Hashem, and the ultimate in life is to be able to live like Avraham, not just to live resilient while broken, but to live broken, wholesome, and happy. And that seems like a paradox, and maybe intellectually it is, but at the end of the day, a Jew can handle both. There's one thing to say, I'll forge forward, I made mistakes, I failed in life, right? A teenager, a bacher, someone that's made wrong decisions and scarred themselves, seem to have lost their innocence of childhood, lost their freshness of childhood. So, on the one hand, they could deal with the current reality, humbly, to the best of their ability. But ultimately, we could realize that same fresh, sincere, wholesome child that once was, still is. And maybe there are layers of brokenness on top of it, but at the core, a Jew is never broken. And a Jew's breath of life, simcha, completeness of pre-Mabul, still exists. I'm going to share a story. I think that's going to illustrate this difficult point. Some of you might be uncomfortable with this story, but as I was just in Avelos myself recently, I'm going to take the liberty to share it and share the way I understand the story. I'm the third Keli. I'm Kli Shlishi. That means I heard it from a guy who heard it from the guy it happened to. There was a rabbi named Rabbi Rubin who lived in Crown Heights. He was in a Lubavitcher, and he was sitting Shiva for his father. And the Rebbe sent a messenger to him to be Menachem Avol, to comfort him for his loss. And the Rebbe told him to share an interesting message, which is, we serve Hashem with simcha. We serve Hashem with joy. And that means all mitzvahs we do with simcha. Now, Avelos is also a mitzvah. So Avelos must also be done with joy. And the way I take that story to mean is not that the Rebbe was not respecting the concept of sadness of Avelos. No, you're meant to be sad, broken, devastated, and all those emotions that come along with it. However, there's more to... At that same moment, you're able to also retain joy of life. And a Jewish heart could handle both of them. And that's the Avram reality. On the one hand, being of the softened, buttle type post-Mabul, at the same time retaining youthfulness and freshness that exists pre-Mabul. And I invite all of us to attempt this in our own lives, whatever might have broken us, not just to forge forward while broken, but to also try to bring back that same fresh, innocent neshama that we've had pre-Mabul, and be able to live with that too, and not to forget about it, and to be able to integrate that into our plan B reality, that the innocent child's there, the pre-Mabul powerful freshness is still there, together with my post-Mabul, and that way I'm taking the Maila, pre-Mabul, into the Mata, post-Mabul, and making a real Dir B'Tachtainim.